We are brought to you today by Smooth My Balls. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, are you sick of cutting yourself, nipping yourself with those old razors that you've used 412 different times? Well, Smooth My Balls has you covered. Your number one source for male grooming products. Dedicated to providing you the very best trimmers with an emphasis on service, friendliness, and overall good experiences. Smooth My Balls has come a long way from its beginnings in England. When they first started out, their passion was for male grooming. That drove them to start their own business and to find the best products suitable for easy grooming. You will thank me later, your privates will thank me later, and your partner will thank me later, because you're gonna be smooth as an egg. Trust me. Use code POP at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Limit one order per household per day. Guys, girls, get on it. Shave up. Get it. Oh, God, it's still up. Looks like I'm a little rusty, Jack. How about you?
Yeah, man.
Why the hell am I over here now?
Because you're used to me doing the damn show.
Yeah. Welcome to Quick Dip. I haven't been here in a while, man.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's time to talk about something. I think before we get started, I just want to say this. Usually I go pretty easy on Warner Brothers as a whole. And I've always been supportive of the DCEU, what they're trying to do, even if it didn't include Snyder. But tonight I'm taking the training wheels off and taking the bumpers down, and we're gonna give it to you raw, because I finally had it on Henry Cavill's birthday, of all days to do such things. Before we get into that, make sure that you like this video, that you subscribe to the channel. YouTube took away about 50 of our subscribers for some reason because they're inactive. So remember to be active, like, comment, engage, all that good stuff, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any new or future uploads. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. Welcome, Jack. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just to let everyone know, I think they were going to do a Star Wars thing tonight, but Austin wasn't feeling well. Just keep him in your thoughts. So that's not going away. That's postponed. But this happened today, and I feel like I don't know if I could have focused on Star Wars today.
I can't. I sure can't. So why don't you tell us a little bit of about what's going on? So we had known that JJ had been tapped to produce. Yeah. Well, actually, I think we thought direct.
Yeah.
But he had been tapped. But so did Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
Had been tapped to develop a Superman story aside from the DCEU. But what did we learn today, Jack?
We learned a couple of things. First of all, the whole Black Superman thing was never confirmed until today. And, we did a show about it a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it might have been a month or two ago. We said, all right, fair. It's going to be Calvin Ellis probably, or whoever the other one is. That's fine. It's not going to be connected to the Snyderverse or the DCEU. Okay, fair. Today we learned that this character will be Kal-El.
Yes. Yeah. So here's why I have a problem with this. And I had said this from the beginning, that if you were going to do a second Earth Superman, mm-hmm. If you were going to do a second Earth Superman, you can pull from the source material. You can grab Val Zod, Calvin Ellis. You don't have to necessarily do a Black Kal-El. I found, and if you were going to do that, then you were not going to have my support. And obviously today they have come out and they have basically said, yes, it's going to be Clark Kent. But we're basically just race swapping him to be a black guy. I have multiple issues with this. First off, you can do better. You can do better towards the black community, towards the community of color, and towards diversity. I find that when you swap a character like Clark Kent, who is 100% a white guy from Kansas who came here from another planet and has always been white, right? To just be like, well, those other characters that were drawn in the source material, they're not good enough to be Superman. Mm-hmm. They're not good enough. So we'll take Clark Kent and we'll take him and we'll change him to a black guy or to a Latino or, whatever it may have been. But instead of giving a character who was written and done pretty well in the source material in the comic books, mm-hmm. in Val Zod or in Calvin Ellis, no, we're going to take the name, because basically all Warner Brothers is doing here is they're trying to be politically correct. They're trying to bring their identity politics and say, look who we got. We've got a black Superman. We've got Black Lightning on CW. We've got this character, that character, Blue Beetle Spanish. Yeah. This guy's this. Like it's pretty disrespectful.
I think basically both DC and Marvel might have just seen the best days behind them. I think now it's not going to be about good storytelling. They're going to enter the woke politics. And basically, but here's what's clever about this. One, it automatically negates Zack Snyder's Superman.
Of course.
Number two, the inevitable thing that's going to happen is that when fans backlash against this, and they already are, they will immediately say, you all are racist. You just cannot see a black Superman, just like you can't see a black Captain America, except, that happened in the comics. Sam Wilson does become Captain America. They didn't just make that out of thin air. But watch, there will be hardcore criticism by Warner Brothers, Ta-Nehisi Coates especially, and they're going to say, you all are racist. You just can't see a black man being Superman. And that's what your problem is. No, but that's what they're going to say.
Of course, they're going to paint a narrative. Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem. Is anytime you can literally draw it out. Anytime the Snyderverse gains any momentum, all of a sudden Warner Brothers is there to drop a piece of news.
Yeah, and I think the numbers from China came out at 153 million people. In China alone, that's almost half the population of the U.S. watched the Snyder Cut. And I'm like, okay, why would you not? And by the way, I hate to say it, it's true. Black Superman is not going to fly in China. No pun intended.
Dude, did you see what Disney did?
Mm-hmm. They Disney. They're only woke when it's, beneficial. They removed John Boyega from the poster.
John Boyega from.
Not only that, the Black Panther poster had Chadwick Boseman doing this. In China, they actually put the mask
cover on him, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, guys, this is not a joke anymore. There's something. If we don't, and again, this is not the type of stuff we typically do here, but if we don't stand up against this bullshit now, our superhero films our content is going to become just like all the movies at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I can't have it, man. I can't.
Yeah, they're gonna turn into lectures. Like, movies can be political and smart. Batman vs Superman is a very political movie. It just doesn't hammer it into your head. These movies are gonna be like the Oscar speeches. We're gonna tell you what the correct answer is. Right. This is the correct answer, because the character will look at the camera almost and tell you, "Shame on you." And like, I can already see the plot of this movie. I remember I told you a couple of months I already envisioned a scene. Now that I know he's gonna be Clark Kent, I think I read, I'm not 100% sure, that they said it's going to be set in the 20th century.
They said it's an idea that they've had because of the success of the Joker. A period piece might be in the works.
They're going to set it in Jim Crow, Kansas. Watch.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not going to.
I know.
They're not going to set it in 1995. They're going to set it in Jim Crow, Kansas.
Right.
You know, and the Kents are going to be poor black farmers in Kansas who get this alien child, and that's what it's going to be. You can write this stuff. Like, like a lot of the Oscar movies, before you watch it, you already know what the plot is. Like, okay, I see what they're trying to say, so this is what the story's going to be.
Listen, I am so not on board with this.
No, neither am I.
What I'm on board with is taking a character that maybe hasn't got a lot of attention. And listen, and you can go back to when we first broke the news about the Black Superman thing. I was actually the only one that was really like, okay, I'm okay with J.J. Abrams doing it. Ta-Nehisi Coates, I didn't really like look into him too much, but I was like, listen, if you set this on Earth 2 and you give me Val Zod or Calvin Ellis, I'm all for it.
And let me just say this, just before anyone starts throwing this in the comment section, we're all, I think, mostly, not that it should matter, but I think we're mostly more to the left. I think you, me, Justice, and Austin. We're not like Republicans or Trump supporters or anything like that, because then that's the next thing that's thrown like, oh, that's what these guys are. They don't like seeing a black suit. No, we're on the left, I think, mostly, or at least center. But right now, I mean, this stuff always happens in stages. This is why I was a little bit hesitant about, like, when they fired Gina Carano. I'm like, not because I think they should have kept her or either which way, but like when they start dictating what you should be thinking or what you should be saying, what you're allowed to say, then I get worried, because right now Warner Brothers is going to pull the race card every time this movie gets criticized. Anytime someone says, "Hey, but Clark Kent's white, you racist," you know.
Yeah.
At least with Miles Morales, they gave a new character. They created a new character. They didn't make Peter Parker, black.
Right.
And if they're going to do that, make him Korean, make him Peter Park. That was my idea. If you wanted to do that,
Peter Park. No, but and listen. I'm not saying to you, but I am so tired of it. I'm so tired of the.
I'm tired of it too.
I'm tired of studios feeling that instead of giving us a good story, instead of giving us depth in a character, instead of pulling from the source material these characters that someone really, really took time and effort into creating. Like I said, back to Calvin Ellis and Val Zod. Instead of giving us those characters and then allowing Henry Cavill's Superman to live on in the DCEU proper, like Earth 1 or Earth Prime, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. Whatever you want to call it. You're going to tote the multiverse to me, right? But then you're going to basically say that the Snyderverse, that's not part of it because we can't have it. Yeah. Because we don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want if the multiverse is something that you were saying, right? I said it in my little update. You want to have it so that there's a Batman for everybody, a Superman for everybody, an Aquaman for this one, an Aquaman for that one, a Wonder Woman for her, a Wonder Woman for him. You want to give us everyone a character that they can call their own.
Yeah.
A lot of us call Zack Snyder's characters ours. We want those ones.
Exactly.
Right? And Henry Cavill Superman is one of the top contenders of that Justice League. Those characters that we want as our Superman, Batman, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. We know that they're moving on in the theatrical versions, but the Snyderverse is something we wanted. And now no, we can't have that. No, we can't have that. But hey, listen.
This is a brilliant move. This is a brilliant move by Warner Brothers by making it racial.
Yeah, we're gonna give you Clark Kent. Don't worry. But he's a black guy.
Yep.
and that's gonna check all the boxes for us as Warner Brothers. Not only
I kind of blame
correct,
I kind of blame Black Panther. First of all, that was a great movie, but I think everyone's getting the wrong message. The message is, oh, it was great because it was a black character. Well, no, that helped, but it was a good story. It was a compelling story. It was the type of story we hadn't seen from the MCU. That's what made people like it. Yeah. Yes, it was a black cast. It was diverse, but people connected to that character. Yeah. Now, the lesson I learned is, okay, I guess we need more black superheroes. And they're not going to really focus. And look, it's going to be a 2.5-hour lecture. I'm telling you right now. Remember that speech Sam Wilson gave at the end of Winter Soldier? Yeah. Multiply that by like 10. That's what's going to be every scene. And you're saying, oh, Jack, you're just basing that on what? I'm basing that on Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
Read his stuff.
So where did this guy come from? How did he get this job writing Superman?
I think he's written some Captain America. I think he's written some comics. I don't know but basically it's his stuff on racial politics, critical race theory, stuff like that.
But he has background writing in film?
That I don't know. I don't think he's ever written a film before. He's written comics.
Okay, so what the fuck is he doing writing his first film? So part of my language, tonight's not a filtered night. So what the fuck is this dude doing coming in and writing one of the biggest budget characters there is in film?
It's just woke politics, man.
Dude, what is going on?
Because if you criticize him or criticize the writing,
and I'm not criticizing him. I'm just
saying, what I'm saying is it's woke politics. They're immediately gonna play that favorite card. They're gonna, like the Joker, they're gonna take out the R card. Like, oh, you just don't like him because he's, an empowered African American. You don't like his writings and blah blah blah. And then that's why it's sort of like it's a card you can pull anytime. And unfortunately, it's a card we see all the time. People don't like Iris West. People said, oh, it's because of racism. No, we don't. It's because of the way you've written her character. I liked her in seasons 1 and 2.
She was awesome in season 1 and 2 of The Flash. But then when she pulled that bullshit, We Are the Flash bullshit, I was like, listen, hon, you're not the Flash.
You're not the Flash.
You are not the Flash. And guess what? If she was white, I would have said the same goddamn thing.
And by the way, she is white in the comics. I didn't care that she was black. I liked her, and I liked the girl in Snyder Cut.
Dude,
what's her name?
Wait, who?
The girl who plays Iris West in the Snyder Cut. What
the hell is her name? Jesus. Now I just have Candace Patton stuck in my head.
Yeah. Her name is
Kirstie Clemons.
Kirstie Clemons. Yeah.
Kirstie Clemons.
Yeah. Perfect.
Listen, and I said this to Poindexter Lounge today. Me and him have been talking a little bit, working through some things, and we're probably gonna do a show together. As you know, I did talk about this recently with or about Geeks and Gamers, and that's what I don't want to sound like. I do not want to sound like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. So I'm not going to blame woke politics or SJWs or identity politics or anything like that, but that's what I'm doing here. Because dude, there's no way around it.
That's all this is.
There's no way around it.
And to me, like, if you think I'm going to connect with someone because of the color of their skin or their race, I'm sorry, that's not the way I was raised. Who's the one Marvel character who's Pakistani? Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel, yeah.
Yeah. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I got to go get a Miss Marvel comic now. I have never read a Miss Marvel comic. I probably will read a Miss Marvel comic. And her being Pakistani doesn't mean anything to me. Like if you think that's going to connect with me better, like, it's not. I connect with Bruce Wayne. I connect with Clark Kent. I connect with Peter Parker. I connect with Daredevil because he's Catholic. And he has all that guilt. I'm like, yep, that's me. Like, it should never be about race. And I think right now that everything has got to become a political statement, as Andrew Sullivan
as
says
he's saying, as I pulled it up, you said it. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Everything has to be about race. Like, like you cannot, and they're saying it's because, I mean, this is where you get really the politics that America is systemically racist and all that. And some of all that can be true. But I don't think the way to fix it is to do stuff like this. I don't think that fixes it.
I'm at my wit's end, man. I really am.
I just think it could still be a good movie for all I know.
No. You know what the thing is it could potentially still be it could be one of the greatest films of all time. It's the point. Like, who just said that? I don't know who just said that. What does a black Clark Kent accomplish besides?
They're going to take the whole idea of people hating him because he's an alien and use that as a very obvious metaphor.
Of course.
allegory for him being black. Like
the X-Men allegory.
Dude, there's going to be a scene where like he's in 1960s Kansas and he asks Lana Lang, a white girl, out, and the cops are going to pull him over. Like, what are you doing with him, boy? You know, there's going to be a scene like that. There's going to be a cop who's going to pull him over. I said this before. In this movie, there will be a scene where he doesn't know he's got powers, and a cop's going to shoot him because he doesn't like him going out with a white woman. Like, he's going to pull the trigger, and the bullet's going to like bounce.
And the
right
bullet's
off.
going to just crumble on him, and he's going to be like, and that's going to be a metaphor for people of color in the world standing up to police brutality.
His name's gonna be the cop's name's gonna be Derek. Like they're gonna do stuff like that.
And listen,
and then he's gonna be pocket like Clark. You're different. Like no, really? Do you see the metaphor there? He's different.
Yeah.
Like
and I do want to say this. I support Black Lives Matter. I support the Black community standing up for themselves and you know bringing light to it. I do. I really do. So don't take anything the wrong way tonight. We're just a little bit aggravated that instead of
something can be right but not preachy.
Yeah,
something can not be preachy and like
and you know instead of giving us a character, a well-written character, an original well-written character, they have to go race swapping and gender swapping and all this stuff, and it's really really frustrating. You brought the Spider-Man point up.
Yeah.
Look how popular Miles Morales is.
And I was a big Miles Morales fan for the longest time. I'm like, nope, don't want to read it.
Yeah. Look,
you know, I was
look
a big
how
Parker
popular
fan.
he's become.
Yeah.
The video games, the comics, the movies. You don't have to do this. You don't.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what? Is I
think this is going to be connected to the Robert Pattinson Batman. I wouldn't be surprised. I know they're going to say it's not, but they're going to try to create their own Justice League on the other side of the.
And you know what? You know what? Again, at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, the middle of the day, that didn't come out right. At the end of the day, if it is Earth 2 and it does not, because what they're claiming right now, guys, is that it will have no connection. It'll be like the Joker and it'll be like Robert Pattinson's Batman, and it will not be tied to the DCEU proper. Like it will be tied to it, but in a multiverse kind of fashion where it exists on a separate Earth. Listen, but what is Henry Cavill Superman? Where is he gone? Is he dead? Is he fired? I mean, they basically fired this dude on his birthday.
Yeah.
Like what the
I think now I'm starting to assume the worst, that the Flash movie is going to recreate a new timeline. Flash is going to do something where he screws up the timeline, and when he tries to fix it, it'll create a new timeline. Hear me out. Where Superman will now be this Superman, the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman. Aquaman and Wonder Woman will be the same people, and Batman will be the Robert Pattinson Batman. They're gonna like in order to fix the timeline, you're gonna have multiple timelines converging into a new timeline. Remember how in the Arrow, or it was in Flash, I think Diggle had a son.
Yeah, and then
it became a daughter.
After that, it became a black daughter.
Black daughter, right? So they're going to do something like that. Like, okay, now a new timeline is going to be created because the old one has disappeared. It's going to be a convergence of like multiple timelines, and they're going to bring in the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman. They're going to bring in the Robert Pattinson Batman, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman are going to be the same.
You know what's funny is we don't hear about any changes we don't hear about any Earth 2 Aquaman. We don't hear any Earth 2 Wonder Woman. We don't hear any Earth 2 Flash. It's simply Batman and Superman, because those are the staples of Zack Snyder's DCEU. You can't have them running around the universe, because that will just remind people. Yeah. Because that will remind them of the greatness, the pure glory that was.
I also think there's something more insidious going on. One thing I'll say, this ironically is considered an unpopular opinion, but being the child of immigrants, I've been to Pakistan when I was a kid, and I saw.
That's why I like having you pause.
Yeah,
that's why I like having you here with me, is because I don't feel like just a white guy ranting.
Yeah, no, but like I don't really see America as sort of the we've done some horrible things in our foreign policy. I'm not denying that, but like I don't see America as that evil place that the media kind of represents. Like I love that shot of him and the American flag right there. I like that Superman and Captain America represent the best of what Americans can be, especially with Clark Kent being an immigrant. There's, some allegory there that he's an immigrant. He's different, but he represents the best of America. you know, the line he says to Swanwick and his Man of Steel, like, look, I grew up in Kansas. I'm as American as it gets. Like, he represents the best of us. But starting what I saw with Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, when that girl carries like the shield, it's all nonsense. It's all, you know, blah, blah, blah. And everything that Cap did, you know, it was wrong. They want to kind of tear down the image of the superhero who represents the best of America. So how do you do that? You take a Superman and you inject the woke politics into it. Because it's going to be like, well, this is what America's really like, you know. And yeah, that they want to tear that down. They want to tear down sort of the red, white, and blue aspects of the character. And by the way, Henry Cavill's British. Doesn't even bother me. Because anyone can become an American.
Oh, God. I'm so sick of
That's what's going to happen. Watch. You know,
so
dude, he looks so good. Like as every year goes by, like he looks so perfect.
How can you look at this dude and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. You know, he's too Zack Snyder-y for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get JJ Abrams in here and and
they made a $500 million deal with that. I'm like, oh my God, with Bad Robot. I'm like,
fuck
why?
Out of here, man. I'm so done, man. I'm so done with it. I'm so done with it. And then so we besides the Superman thing, we hear that Toby Emmerich is on his way out.
Yeah, that news kind of dropped today.
Now, why is this happening?
Apparently his contract is up soon. And there's a rumor that the Hollywood Reporter is reporting that a call was placed to Netflix to see if there's a role for him at Netflix, because chances are his contract is not going to be renewed. There are similar rumors with Kathleen Kennedy that her contract with Lucasfilm is probably not going to be renewed. I think too many screw-ups have happened. This might be, it doesn't necessarily mean the Snyderverse is going to be restored, but it might mean that, hey, someone needs to be held accountable for what happened in 2017, for, you know, the hundreds of millions they poured into Justice League to release a movie that nobody liked.
And then, so you know what's funny is now that's all getting blamed on Toby.
Yeah.
And that's just like a Warner Brothers fucking thing to do is,
yeah.
All right, who can we blame this on? Hey, whose contract's up next?
Yeah,
Toby?
exactly. Literally, that's
all
what
right.
it is. Yeah.
Toby,
now,
sorry, Pimpin.
If they were to restore the Snyderverse, they would need a fall person. And of course, they wouldn't say it's his fault. They'll be like, well, creative decisions were not working, blah, blah, blah. We want to thank Toby for his 20 years of work here at Warner Brothers. And then Toby's like, well, I'm actually resigning. I'm moving on. That's how they kind of, you know, play this stuff.
Of course.
You'll be getting an award or something.
Because if he were to speak out against it, his next job, there would be no one next job. Because once you get blacklisted for speaking out against the company that employed you for 20 years, you are no longer employable or deemed fit to take this.
And here's something I've always said. Like, okay, this would make sense if Henry Cavill never went anywhere, but he's such a bankable star right now. I mean, he's so popular because of The Witcher. He's done that thing with Netflix where he played Sherlock Holmes. That was really good.
Yeah. Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes, where he plays her uncle. Like, it's a minor role, but he was pretty good at it. Then he's also in the Mission Impossible movies. Like, you know, the dude is getting bigger and bigger. And he's such a, there's talks about him being James Bond. I don't know if they're going to go in that direction. He'd be great. That's another character they're probably going to change the race of also, but okay. This guy's
listen, I would, if I was going to blame someone for a lot of the things that happened, I would blame Toby. But for Warner Brothers to just flat out, and Hamada's still around. So in some form or fashion.
This has his fingerprints all over it, by the way, Walter Hamada.
It does. And Jeff Johns is still around somehow, some way. Yeah. They say he's on his way out too, but I'm not seeing the proof of it. I'm seeing the proof in the pudding, the sense that you're not going to put his name on too much stuff anymore as a producer.
Yeah.
But he's still somewhere lurking, being a disgusting human being like he is. Hamada's still, got his grubby hands all over this. I think Warner Brothers needs an uphaul in a total sense. It can't just be one. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, this is where AT&T comes in. AT&T has to kind of step in and say, let's bring in people. But then again, they bring in J.J. Abrams. So I don't know. They need to figure this out. I mean, okay, after Justice League comes out, the DCEU keeps going. It seems like you're still stuck in like 2014 mode where they're trying to figure this out. Okay, BVS didn't make the money you wanted it to make, but they keep hitting the panic button and try to reconfigure everything every 2 minutes. The Batman movie looks awesome, but the fact that they made that decision that quickly to get rid of Affleck and start all over again shows me that they don't have faith in the product or the fans. Because guess what? The fans would have still come out.
Austin saying basically that Toby's in charge. If you replace him, the rest doesn't matter. You telling me that Walter Hamada doesn't matter? If we replace Toby and you leave Hamada in that spot, that
no, but it might
all
get
of a sudden
Hamada out.
DCEU,
Hamada can be like, all of a sudden Hamada will be like, you know what? I really liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. Unfortunately, it wasn't up to me. But now that we have new leadership, they'll say they always do stuff like that.
But what you're saying is you're Austin. What you're saying is false. Toby, yes, of course, Toby is up there. But Walter Hamada is the president of DC Films, right? Yeah. So with Walter still there, we still run into these same issues. Yeah. Walter's the one who really he didn't want the Snyder cut on HBO Max. He doesn't work with HBO Max well. He basically thinks it's a subpar platform compared to theatrical. He doesn't want to work well with the people in charge at HBO Max. If he wanted to, we would have shows in development at HBO Max that were relevant, not things like Stargirl. He could be playing so much. And Walter, what has he shown? What has he done good for the DCEU? Because every single project that he's been involved with is either something that was there before him and he kind of grandfathered into, or things like the Joker, where he ended up losing DC money. Yeah. Because he sold half of it. Yeah. So Walter's very much a problem. Very much a problem. Again,
this all comes down to, kind of the woke politics. Right now, they're more interested in making statements than telling stories. That's the problem.
If you brought someone in, if you brought someone really good in, like really, really good, right? Someone who was pro Snyder, pro yada yada, and put him where Toby was, I don't doubt that maybe they see the light, maybe, like they see like, oh, wow. Because I feel like leading by example is definitely a thing, right? So, for instance, when someone takes over and they're gun-ho, right? And they're like, look at all we can do. Look at this. Look, you guys are just maybe, drop the ball here and here. And they see that like dedication. Yeah, of course. Maybe Walter Hamada falls in line. I can see what you're saying, I suppose. But it would have to be someone who's polar opposite of Toby Emmerich.
Yeah. It's kind of funny talking about the diversity thing. Zack Snyder actually made some race changes. Wonder Woman's always been played by a very white European-looking woman. He cast Gal Gadot, who's Israeli. That's he kind of changed the race a little bit. He cast Jason Momoa, who's Polynesian. He's not white, as Aquaman, who's usually blonde hair, but it worked. He didn't cast them because of their color. He cast them because he thought they would be the right people for the right role. What's going to happen with the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman? I don't think that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to change everyone's races and then tell a very mediocre story and expect you to stand up and just applaud.
Like, dude, what is the Justice League going to look like?
I don't know.
What is the Justice League going to look like 5 years from now? Because we had a beautiful Justice League, right? We had, oh my God. We had a Samoan Aquaman. Yeah. He's Samoan, right?
Apparently he's Polynesian. I thought he was Samoan too. Oh, okay. But they're like right next to each other, but they are different. We had a
Polynesian Aquaman, an Israeli Wonder Woman, a black, like an African-American cyborg. We had Ben Affleck and we had a Brit. So Ben Affleck was the American, right? The American Batman. And we had a Brit playing Superman.
Yeah.
You want to talk about diversity?
And he made Iris West black before CW did.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on? You had a diverse Justice League. A very diverse Justice League. And you want to throw it all away so we can make politically correct moves to make it more obvious that we're politically correct. Yeah. And we can make it more obvious that there's
virtue signaling. They want to show you how good they are, And by the way, all the negative stereotypes about people of color, Hollywood created. or perpetuate it. But now they're going to be the ones who are going to tell you, hey, we're changing things. Like, This is why I hate Hollywood.
I don't know. I have a sour taste in my mouth tonight.
Yeah.
I really do. I have a very sour taste in my mouth. So forgive me for being a little bit rambly, but if I don't want to offend anyone, right? It's the last thing I want to do. It's the last thing I want to do. But this is really upsetting. I think so who I'd be interested to know, who would you put in charge? Who would you have as Toby, the next Toby Emmerich?
Deborah Snyder.
That's a really good answer.
She's a producer. He makes movies.
Yeah.
She started 2 film production companies. She's done it, going back to 300 and everything.
Hey, right? Let's be gender inclusive here, right?
Deborah Snyder.
You want to be gender inclusive. You want to be politically correct. Let's get Debbie in here. Let's get her running the show. Let's get her, basically, Walter can become her towel maid. He can do things for her. He can rub her feet. He can, fall in line and get the Snyderverse back into the fold here.
Austin's suggestion. I kind of like this. Danny Garcia. I mean, she's more of a manager, but I'd like to see if she could do it.
Do you think Danny Garcia could run Warner Brothers?
No, actually, now that you say it that way, I don't. But he suggested, and I kind of like the idea. Just because
that would be cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just think it would be an obvious choice, right?
Yeah.
Jim Lee would be great. I think Jim Lee would be great.
Yeah, but they need a business person. They don't want someone who's creative. They want someone.
Let's bring in Jason Kylar.
There we go.
We'll bump him up.
But he's head of Warner Media?
Like HBO Max. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So, dude, the dude's pro Snyder. And he guess what he really likes?
What?
Money.
Yeah.
And he likes success. Guess what the Snyder Cut and the Snyderverse does? Brings in money.
Oh, so he's the CEO of Warner Media.
Yes.
So he's above HBO. So technically it'd be a step down for him if he became the head of Warner Brothers.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Warner Media owns Warner Brothers.
This thing's always confused me, the whole hierarchy of Warner Brothers. So if I was, where's he at right now?
So at the top is AT&T, and then all these subsidiaries.
Okay.
Warner Media is over here.
Warner Max was around for a while, but they dissolved that.
Yeah. So Warner Media owns like CNN, HBO Max, Warner Brothers Pictures, etc. But each of them have their own heads, just like Marvel Studios is owned by Disney. Lucasfilm is owned by Disney, but they have different studio heads. One is owned by Kevin Feige, who has his own autonomy, and the one is owned by Kathleen Kennedy, who has her own autonomy. Yeah, they have to answer to Disney, but they kind of are allowed to make their own decisions. So HBO is allowed to make its own shows. Like, they don't have to necessarily always get approval from, let's say, AT&T. They're given the autonomy. Like, here's your budget. They're like big companies that are under other big companies.
All right. So where is Jason Kyler? Because I was under.
He's head of CEO of Warner Media, so he's like basically the head of all that stuff.
I was under the impression he was the head of HBO Max.
No, so HBO Max is under him. Warner Brothers Pictures is under him. DC Films is technically under him, which is under Warner Brothers Pictures. But there is a sort of it's not as simple as that. How do I put it? They are given their own autonomy, and they kind of have to respect that. There's this thing in corporate culture, okay, Toby, it's your ballpark. I'll put it this way: Jason,
why doesn't AT&T come in and say, "Listen, your guys are a shit show.
Yeah.
We need to do something about this."
Because AT&T now doesn't want to be considered racist if they were to come in and say, "No, don't make this movie," because then the story will be like, "We wanted to do Black Superman," but
but it's not that they can't make the movie.
Yeah,
it's that you can't call him Clark Kent.
Yeah,
right. Listen, that's you. If I was AT&T, I'm coming into it and I'm saying, listen, you don't have to make him Clark Kent. People recognize the S on the chest. It's not about Clark Kent. It's not about Kal-El. You can do Val-Zod. You could do Calvin Ellis. And those characters, okay. Maybe they don't have the name recognition that Clark Kent has, but neither did Peter Quill.
No.
Or Neither did any of the people that,
or even Iron Man. Iron Man wasn't a
Man.
household name until 2008.
Right. And I think it's time that we start focusing more on bringing the characters to life the right way, building the story around who they are and not around the politics of today's society or the politically correctness of today's society.
At some point, some movie studio is going to have to say no to this stuff. And right now, the movie studios are scared.
Yeah. And then,
I don't think they want to do stuff like this way. I think they want to tell the stories they want to tell, but they're afraid, of like the Twitter mob coming after them.
This is a scary statement.
Yeah.
Integrity. You know why? Because as if you pay money to go see a movie,
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much, and Jack's talked about this before. You're not a shareholder, but you're a stakeholder in the company, right? You have something to lose, right? You're someone who has a vested interest in the outcome, right? Or the product. To say that the money that we pay Warner Brothers to go see their films or to go watch their shows on HBO Max, that is scary, right? Yeah. To think if that was to be the case and that were to be true, to think that you are irrelevant and that your money is irrelevant simply because of the way they've demonstrated and they've showed how much they care about us. It's very scary. And you know what? I'm almost to the point where I don't want to watch any more DC films.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that vibe too. And you know what's sad? Money should be the bottom line. If it were, the Snyderverse would have gotten greenlit. I mean, they already had pre-orders for the Snyder Cut on 4K in the UK and already sold out. People are buying it. But right now, and we saw this with the Oscars, everyone knows why no one watches the Oscars and why no one watched those movies. But the media made up all these stories saying they changed the narrative. Well, it's because, people weren't going to the movie theaters. I'm like, yeah, but all these movies were streaming. What are you talking about? But they said, oh, well, they want to admit that the movies are boring or that the movies aren't connecting or that the movies are preachy. They won't say that. They're losing money. But what to say, it's because of COVID, people didn't want to go out to the theaters. I'm like, but the movies were streaming.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, in fact, if anything, it should have been easier. In fact, these should have been the most watched Oscars because the movies were so accessible.
Yet the ratings keep plummeting.
But what I'm saying is the media will create its own narrative. So even though the Snyder Cut is clearly made them a lot of money, Samba did a whole thing about how many people watched it on their streaming stuff and all. A lot of people watched it. It crashed the HBO servers. Godzilla vs. Kong did not, but we're being told that, not enough people watched it. Now this tells me that they're more interested in creating a narrative rather than trying to make money.
Right.
Because certain people are afraid they're going to lose their jobs if they admit, we made a mistake. Because, no one ever does that. That's politics. Politicians never admit they're wrong. They'll say we were misinformed. George Carlin used to do this bit about they'll never say they're wrong. We were misinformed. It was a miscalculation. They'll say stuff like that without actually saying, yeah, we were wrong.
So real quick, because before we get too deep into it, we do have a special message from. We are brought to you today by Kai CBD, a Las Vegas-based health and wellness brand that crafts a full-spectrum CBD hemp-derived product line. Made with 100% love, the brand was created by a 20-year licensed massage therapist for her husband who suffers from chronic pain. Healing is what Kai lives for. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram and mention Pop Culture Corner to receive 10% off your order of all or any of their CBD-derived product line. Guys, their website is in the works. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram. The links are in the description below. Mention Pop Culture Corner and get 10% off. This ad is an easy one for me. Easy, as I use the products myself. They are wonderful. So head over, mention Pop Culture Corner, and get 10% off your order of all orders forever. We are brought to you today by Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Bonk specializes in seafood and good times. If you're in the Philly area, make sure to stop by, and on Tuesdays, our resident producer, Jack, hosts trivia at the bar. Mention Pop Culture Corner to Jack and receive your first drink on the house. For more information about the menu or specials, visit the website for Bonks or their social media pages. All of the links are in the description below. This was an easy one, guys. Head out, support your local service industry. Go to Bonks, grab some seafood, some beer and wine, play some trivia, and have a good time. Sorry, guys. Got to pay the bills. Keep the lights on. You know, I got to pay the bills, guys.
I'm going to make a prediction. Remember people were talking about Avengers fatigue? If both Marvel and DC kind of go down this road, I think this could be the beginning of I'm not going to say it's going to happen in the next 5 years, but I think the age of the comic book movie might start whittling down. That doesn't mean you won't get some great comic book movies in the future. I just think that each one being a guaranteed $1 billion thing, people aren't going to go to watch that.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is Justice told me that. Justice, of all people, said this in one of our first episodes. He said that the way it's going right now, superhero movies will be a fad. Yeah. And he said they won't live out. And then he related it to the Westerns and how, how they got taken over. He actually brought up a lot of good points, but I didn't want to see it as truth because that would mean that we're not getting films like this or like these huge ensemble films or shows or, I didn't want to believe it. But at this time, I'm honestly with you. I don't, if it keeps going down the path that it's going down, people aren't going to listen. I don't even think that the Snyder fans are going to go see The Flash anymore. I don't. And the other day I was literally saying it. Don't boycott The Flash. Our boy Ezra's in it. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore, man. Am I going to see it in theaters? Yeah, it's my job.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Right?
With showcases like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest movies. Yeah, we get it. All right. Sorry, Showcase, but like my dignity's at stake here.
Yeah.
Like what's really going on? Because I'm having a hard time with this. I mean, it's Henry Cavill's birthday. So people on Twitter took to Twitter to remind Warner Brothers and everyone that.
But look, they've already been doing this. They said the Snyder fan cult they called it are toxic. They're just going to double down on that. They're just going to say we have an opportunity for a young African-American director, an African-American writer, and a new African-American star. And these racist fans, they want their white Anglo-Saxon looking Superman. I can already see the headlines. This is what's going to be happening. Yeah. And give props. Jody's corner is against this. He was mad. He's like, Jody's black. He's like, I don't want it.
Damn corner.
He's like, I don't want a black Superman. I'm sorry. I'm black. I don't care. Superman's white and he has to be white. I'm like, oh, thanks. He's right. I agree with him.
Superman, Clark Kent is white.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and
he looks white or for whatever you want to call it.
Clark Kent is white. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, there's other incarnations. But again, what I'm saying, what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, was I pointing the right way? Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But on Cavill's birthday, the fans on Twitter were wishing Henry Cavill a happy birthday and that they loved him in the role of Superman, that he's a really great Superman, yada, yada, yada. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, when it started trending, all of a sudden, Warner Brothers comes out and does this. Is it coincidence anymore?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, like now I'm kind of worried about what the hell the Flash movie is going to be. I think this is just, it seems like they're being purposefully mean. It just seems like they're doing it on purpose. They can't be like, okay, a coincidence happens once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, too many coincidences. They start announcing this type of stuff. I don't know.
Right. You know what's crazy to me is that they don't see the fact that we don't want another MCU.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot of people that do. Yeah. I really don't. And that's not, and I think that on the surface level, people are like, well, I would like another MCU. No, you wouldn't. You want another successful brand? Yes. There's difference, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I want a successful DCEU. I do not want a carbon copy MCU. So all the jokes hit the same. It's all quirky the same. It's all this, it's all that, just so we can all make $1 billion. Yeah, cool, right? we all want success. We all want money. That's what a studio's main focus is. That, in a close second, is pleasing the people that pay the money to giving them what they want, right?
Yeah.
Movies aren't made because the studios are like, well, you know what would be a really good time? Let's make a Superman movie. I really wanted to see a Superman movie this year.
Yeah.
Let's make it. No, you make the Superman movie because people want to see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but then to turn around and smack the same people in the head.
I have no doubt if a Man of Steel 2 came out, whether it was Snyder or not, it would probably be a huge success. I think people are ready for a Superman sequel. And what you're basically saying is that this Superman was a failure. And like, that just grinds my gears, you know?
Yeah. I'm just, I just don't know what to think anymore. Because I defended Warner Brothers a lot. I really did.
I did too, yeah.
I defended them in the sense that, listen, maybe the Snyderverse or whatever isn't just, maybe they have other plans, right? And they do. That's still the case. But maybe they have other plans and they're like, okay, we have this idea. We want to see it through, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
No, they don't have a plan. What they have is they have an idea that who can be the who could be the most diverse in their castings and who can be the most politically correct on the spectrum and who can satisfy the most woke people. That's what their goal is. That's not a plan.
There's a saying that's been going around. I don't like usually saying it because it kind of started in right-wing circles, but there's some truth to it. It's go woke, go broke. That if you keep going in that direction, people are just going to tune out. And it's not because they're racist. They want to be entertained, not lectured to.
Yeah. And I, like I said, I love Marvel, right? I love Marvel Studios. I love the MCU. I love anything that they produce. However, I just don't want another one. I don't want the same thing.
Yeah.
Like what I liked about, and again, Justice said this to me. He said, you know what? Even when Snyder was at the helm of DC, he's like, every time I walked into a theater for one of those movies, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, I knew I wasn't going in to see a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Even though we love them all the same.
Yeah.
Right? We love the Marvel movies just as much as we love DC. We knew what we were getting. So when we go see a Marvel movie, we're getting that light, funny, quirky thing, right? We're getting that. But with DC, even in the books, it's most of the time there's a different feel to the books, right?
And it should be different, yeah.
Yeah, and DC for Zach's DC, it was polar opposite. It was the yin and yang. It was the balance. The balance was there. But now
now they're going to do the same thing with Captain America 4. So I was excited, at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier. Okay, they announced Captain America 4 is coming out and it will be dealing with racism in America. I'm like, oh, good, thank God, because we don't have enough of that. That's what you're going to do. Captain America stopped Hydra. He stopped Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. He got involved in a civil war with the Avengers, and the next one, he's going to be fighting evil white cops. I don't know, you haven't even written the script yet, and you already know what it's going to be about, and it's going to be about politics. What would be a braver statement? Sam Wilson is Captain America. Get over it, and the world deals with it. They're just fine with it. Nope, he's a new Captain America. That would be making a statement that, look, these fictional characters in this fictional world got over it. You should too. But no, they're gonna make a big thing out of it.
And that's the crazy fucking thing. You know who creates all this shit? Well, yes, Hollywood, but mostly the news, right? They pit us against each other, right? Like the races, and I'm talking from my heart at this point. It's like, I have never, and I know there are people in the world. There are always going to be those people in the world that make us look bad. You know the ones, right? He's probably your cousin. That one kid, right? Yeah. We all know him, or her.
Austin. We're talking about Austin.
We're talking about Austin or Justice, right? But most people get along.
Yeah.
Most. Now, take it like that, right? With an asterisk next to it. Most people get along and they don't look down because we live in 2021. Most people don't look down. I don't look at our team. Right,
but the news will make it seem like you're living in 1860s Alabama.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, no, it's not that bad.
That's what I'm saying. So look at our team, for instance, Justice, Jack, and Austin. Right, I'm the minority, right? In terms of you know what what I'm saying. I don't know how to say it without like sounding like I want to get canceled the right way, but
Well, actually, it's 2.5 because Justice is half white, so we got to it's actually
okay,
1.5.
yeah, okay, yeah. But you know what I mean. Like most of us get along. Most of us. I've never had
see
a
more
racist
division
thought.
now than I did. Like I'm old enough to remember the '90s. I see more problems now than I did in the '90s.
Hell yeah. Because
I see more problems now than I did after 9/11.
You know what? You know why? Because the news adapted a 24-hour news cycle. For a long time, that wasn't the case. And then right in the 90s, and then, the early 90s, and then, then they kind of perfected it.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, what breeds profit? Okay.
Yeah. Division.
Chaos does.
Yeah.
Chaos.
I mean, I blame the news. I also blame to some degree, even though I agree with their ends, I don't agree with their means, a lot of social activism. That's where Ta-Nehisi Coates comes from. He sees racism in everything. Now, again, that is not to say that racism doesn't happen and that situations like what happened with George Floyd don't happen, but they ascribe race to every single thing. And then they say, well, we're all secretly racist deep down and we have to confront that racism. Like, well, maybe, no, we're not. Because in that world, yeah, even Clark Kent, your white Clark Kent is a racist because he grew up in a white world. Like, no, not everyone is like that. You're ascribing you're ascribing feelings to large swaths of people, which is supposed to be racist. Yeah. Like if you would say that all black people are like this, that's racist. All Pakistani people are like this. That's right. All Indian people are like this, are racist. But then you will say, well, all white people are inherently racist. Well, then like what? How's that any different? Like now you're pitting people against each other by indoctrinating them that we can't get along because it's in our DNA to hate. And I'm like, and it's people like Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's people like that. These types of authors who write stuff like this to kind of pollute the thing because they have an agenda. And it sometimes seems like they don't want equality. They want revenge. And that's two different things. They want revenge against a white man. I'm like, I don't want revenge against any white man except the one who wronged me, and that's a personal thing. I have nothing against any person for the color of their skin, whether they're white, black, green, whatever the hell Gamora was. I have no problem with you. I judge you as a person, but the media keeps feeding this mindset like, oh man, people really hate each other. And like they'll take a situation and they'll immediately inject race into it because they get better ratings. Look, the news media loved Trump. He was good for their ratings. And they need to keep the ratings up. They need to keep people watching the news. So, that's where I'm at.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, man. Look at these guys. And by the way, this is Calvin Ellis.
Yeah.
Look how cool he looks.
Yeah.
Right? Look how cool he looks. And then you got him. Like you got these great characters, man.
Yeah.
Like actually no. Wait a second. I kind of got them mixed up here. This isn't. I think this is Zod. This is.
Oh, okay.
I think this is Zod. And this is Ellis.
Calvin Ellis. Okay.
Yes. So if I'm correct,
is this story the same? Like, does he land here as a baby, or is it like a different type of story?
So Calvin Ellis is kind of a similar story.
Okay.
The Zod incarnation, I'm not 100% familiar with.
Okay.
But I know several of my friends that really, really enjoyed that. And I don't. Did you watch Krypton?
I saw the first episode or two. And then it took too much space on my DVR. My sister's like, I need to delete stuff. I was like, all right, go ahead and delete it. Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on. Okay. Where is it on? It's on the sci-fi channel, right?
Yeah.
It was on like a random channel. I know that.
It was on Sci-Fi. That I know, but I'm wondering like where I can.
But they had a black Zod. They had a black General Zod.
General Zod, yeah.
And I really liked what they did with it. The General Zod black casting has been done before.
Yeah.
That wasn't a new thing. So I wasn't as aggravated about it. However, this is different. And this has been happening for quite some time now. We've seen it happen. Name some other gender swapped or racial swapped characters. We had Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Wilson Fisk in the original Ben Affleck Daredevil. They cast Michael Clark Duncan.
Yep. So
and I was fine with that because he's a big guy. He fit the role. He was like 6'5" and like jacked. I mean, he made Ben Affleck look small in that movie, like in terms of
very
size.
small. Yeah, very small. What are some other ones? Okay, well, racial swapped is
the new Gordon is going to be black. The new Catwoman is going to be black. But then they did black Catwoman in the 60s with Eartha Kitt. So
and see, there are some times when I think you can get away with it. When I don't think it's integral to the role. Well, I don't think it's integral to the story. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, or blue, or green, or yellow, or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are other times where it does, and I think Clark Kent is one of those characters where it does actually matter. He is famously a white guy, and yeah, listen, comic books have never done a great job. Well, when they were first created, of being inclusive.
Yeah.
But along the way, we've gotten those people that wrote those books with other incarnations, and I truly find the original characters, right? Zod, Ellis, Miles Morales. I find those characters far more compelling than I do if you were to just change Superman or Clark Kent to a black guy because you want to be politically correct.
Yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with Lex Luthor. They'll probably make him a skinhead. That's why he shaves his head.
They also gender swapped Ancient One in Doctor Strange, which I actually didn't mind.
They did that not to be stereotypical because they didn't want to cast like that stereotype of the Asian wise Asian guy. So they were like, all right,
big mustache, the long mustache, Fu Manchu, yeah. And they also did that in what did they do? It was just recent. They didn't want to do.
Mordo is white in the comics too.
I'm talking about they didn't want to do Fu Manchu style Asian guy, Shang-Chi. They didn't do that either because they didn't want to be stereotypical. But dude, that's the way the character's drawn.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, this is a quick tip.
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this tomorrow and Friday. And
tomorrow morning on the morning show, we'll be live on Podbean. We're supposed to do it today. Unfortunately, like Jack said, Austin was a little bit under the weather today. And then Jack had something going on as well. Yeah. So instead of doing the show alone, which I felt I didn't have enough to do it alone. I ended up just postponing it till tomorrow. So episode 19 of the morning show will be tomorrow morning. Make sure to tune in. Follow us on Podbean, guys. We're it's really good time. It's kind of like this, where it's a live stream. It's just podcast version, right? So it's just the audio. But you can. It's literally the same thing. You can comment. Jack's been there. He knows it. It's a really cool platform. All those links are in the description below. We'll definitely be talking about this tomorrow. It'll be my first chance to talk about it with Austin. So that'll be fun. And that'll be good and healthy. But if you have anything that you want to say to Warner Brothers, make sure you get out there, tag them on Twitter, tag them on Instagram, whatever it may be. Let them know, listen, the fight isn't over. It's far from over, right? I know it's becoming bleaker. I know it's becoming darker, and I know it's becoming more cloudy in the sense that do we know if the Snyder Cut will ever the Snyderverse will ever happen? Sorry, Snyder Cut happened. But it doesn't mean stop fighting.
Yeah.
What it does mean is we need to continue to show Warner Brothers that there is a demand, that there are people that want to watch the continuation of Zach's films, but we also have to put on the other hand, Zach's happy at Netflix, right? He said it. Netflix is really happy to have him there. We know that he's been given the creative freedom to do what he needs to do as a creator, right?
Yeah.
We should be happy for him, and we are. But I feel like people just want to see if see the vision continued. But that's like if I was the best cook in the kitchen, right? And I left that kitchen because I was being treated poorly, but no one could cook like I could. Do I go back to serve, to work under those terrible people, to serve the customers because I know that they need me?
Yeah. Or hell, they could say, Zach, go bake whatever you want, and then when it's time to release it, cut this, like they did with Zach with the original Justice League.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could lie to him and be like, "Yeah, Zach, you can go ahead and make whatever you want for Justice League 2. Ben Affleck, do whatever you want. Okay, go ahead. And yeah, we're gonna cut this. We're gonna cut this. We're gonna remove that.
Yeah. So I mean, we just gotta keep pushing the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
It's not over yet. It's never over. Always forward, never back. Luke Cage reference, by the way.
Yeah.
Who's a black guy? Guess what? Isn't that
Mhm.
crazy, right?
Mhm.
We like those people too.
Yep.
It's
What do
crazy,
you mean,
right?
you people? Yeah.
Crazy original black characters that we enjoy. But, honestly, at this point, I'm not going to tell anyone not to boycott Warner Brothers anymore
Yeah.
because I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I want to go see these films going forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Robert Pattinson's Batman. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to The Flash. But it's hard to want to see Warner Brothers succeed because maybe it will take Zack Snyder being gone and them still tanking to realize, wait, maybe it wasn't Zack's fault. Maybe it was our fault. Isn't that a crazy thing to think about? Marcel, by the way,
I think
you're a great guy.
They need to get a leadership.
New leadership.
Our friends at Culture Nerd, especially War Stew, they're saying, from what they're hearing, there's a civil war going on right now, back and forth. And this is all Warner Brothers doing it. Warner Brothers in America. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers UK and all the other Warner Brothers are like tweeting about the Snyder Cut. It's just us, our Warner Brothers.
So let's get them out. Let's get the Snyderverse continued on HBO Max or ideally in theaters, right?
Yeah,
and let's have it be proper DCEU. The future might seem bleak, but it's bright where it counts. And that's in the fact that we got the Snyder Cut. They gave us hope, and that might be the worst thing they could have done.
That's what that means on my planet.
That's what that means on my planet.
It's all some people hold on to.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
That means hope, baby. So keep hoping, keep fighting, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll talk more about this. Let us know in the comments how you feel about this, how who you would choose to take over at Warner Brothers for Toby Emmerich, and let us know how you think the show is going. We are looking for new patrons and more patrons so we can start getting the ball rolling with a little bit more, a few more things, solo streams for the patrons, yada, yada, yada. Shout out to these guys, Caden Reed, Nick DePalma, Billy Robert, that one, Carlos, Adam Silvestri, and Odd. You guys are the lifeblood of the Pop Culture Corner. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like you and all you subscribers. You make this worth it every single day. You truly are a part of the family. Head over to the Pop Culture Corner store. We got plenty of merch and stuff going on. By the way, the Jiving with Jack shirts are now available at the Pop Culture Corner shirt. Jiving with Jack will debut in place of TY's Corner Live starting May 25th. That's Austin's birthday. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, share it so your friends, family, enemy can watch along with you. Even if you hate them, let's get along. We'll take everyone here at the Pop Culture Corner. Everybody.
Yes,
everybody except J.J. Abrams, Superman.
Yeah.
Except J.J. Abrams, Superman. I actually like J.J. Abrams as
he's hit and miss for me. Some of his best work I like is as a producer. He did shows like Fringe.
I like J.J. Abrams.
Lost.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Person of Interest that he did with Chris Nolan's brother?
What is it called?
Person of Interest. It was a really good show. Only lasted 5 years.
Yeah. I did.
That was J.J. Abrams and Jonathan Nolan. Like really good. And Fringe, I think, was like an amazing show that no one heard about. He did. But like I like his production as a show, and I like his Star Trek movies, even though they're not.
I like the Star Trek movies, but that's because I'm not a huge Trekkie.
Yeah. But I enjoy them. They're fun.
I enjoy them. I did. I'm with you on that. But yeah, guys, thank you for all being a part of the Pop Culture Corner. Just try to remember that. Don't the world, like on when you watch the news and when you see all this stuff out of Hollywood, you really feel like the world is divided. But most people, I would say 85%, we do get along and we do love each other. And we do want to see each other succeed. I want to see you succeed, whether you're white, black, Asian, green. You're an alien. You're a Martian. I don't
and whatever
care.
justice is, we're not sure.
Whatever justice is, I don't know. The jury is still out on that one. But we have so much in the works. We really do. It would mean a lot to us to have you guys as patrons. That way we could do some special stuff for you. Free gift per year. Discounted merchandise always for every order, every day, all the time. Early access to podcasts. You can join us in screaming "fuck you, Warner Brothers" every single day, and all that shit. All right.
Yeah.
So today, quick dip, unfiltered, is over. Jack, parting words.
Parting words. Make sure to check us out tomorrow morning and TY's Corner tomorrow at 5:45.
All right.
And remember, we do it for you, and we do it for the culture.
We are brought to you today by Showcase Cinemas Deluxe. Right now, Mortal Kombat is in theaters, and we were live from inside the theater for all-day coverage of the film on April 23rd. Make sure to get out and support your local theaters now. See these larger-than-life movies the way they were intended, on the largest screen possible. Showcase offers X+, which is their large premium format theater. Not only do you see and hear the film, but you become a part of it as well. Find out where your local Showcase Cinemas is by heading to their website, www.showcasecinemas.com. Again, that's www.showcasecinemas.com, or by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, be Showcase safe. Showcase has implemented several protocols to ensure that your focus remains on the film, not on the pandemic, including new ventilation systems in each theater to ensure proper airflow, sanitizer on every wall, and so much more. Enjoy the movie the way it was meant to be, with a night out to the theater. I think they could hear me cough.